Hi, my name is Phil Laws and I'm a learning disability nurse and one of the specialist learning disabilities clinicians working for Hampshire CAMHS. This presentation today is going to be looking at communication in learning disabilities, hopefully giving you some helpful advice on how to make some positive changes to your child or young person's communication. As the title of the presentation says, this is just an introduction, and if you require more information, please contact your school speech and language therapist, or if that's not possible, then please contact the NHS speech and language therapy team, details which can be found on the last slide of this presentation. Communication is vital to every aspect of our lives. It impacts on our relationships, choice, control, emotion, self-esteem and self-expression. Therefore, it is fundamental to our well-being and quality of life. If you can't tell other people what you want or don't want, challenging behaviour can be more likely. For example, in self-interest behaviour, the child may be wanting to communicate that they are in pain or discomfort, or that they are hungry, thirsty, overwhelmed, etc. If the behaviour is effective in getting what the child needs, say a drink, or taken out of the environment that they are in, it is more likely to be repeated. Making communication better can reduce challenging behaviour. The aim of this presentation is to give you some ideas on how to do that. Perhaps the simplest way of thinking about communication is that it is the passing of any information from one person to another, using any means possible. The main ones are verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written or visual. You may be surprised to know that we get most of our information across through non-verbal forms. All behaviour communicates something, so helping to improve communication will have a positive impact in all areas of the child/young person's life. It will enable them to express their needs, feelings or opinions, so asking for a drink or asking for help. It will help them to make choices, such as choosing an activity that they would like to do. It will help them to interact with others and form relationships, so getting attention in a positive way, but also knowing or being able to ask when they would like their own space. It will help to develop skills which will help them to access learning opportunities. Learning new skills also helps to reduce challenging behaviour, such as learning how to be more independent or learning how to wait. So these are some of the strategies that could be really helpful to adopt when thinking around how to improve communication. The first one is say the child's name. This will help to get their attention before giving an instruction. For example, Phil, it's now time for a snack. Give time for the child or young person to process your instruction and to respond. Simplify your language, so use short, clear sentences. Don't use language that is complicated or hard to understand or be interpreted. For example, don't say things such as, it's raining, cats and dogs. And speak in a positive manner. So say walk instead of don't run, or kind hands instead of don't hit. So before we start looking at specific communication tools that can be used, it's important to highlight that no child is the same. So there might be one or more ways or communication ways that suits your child's needs. Make sure you choose the right method that is right for your child or young person. There is no right or wrong answer. What the child or young person needs is the right answer. So sometimes when we're thinking about visual tools, there can be different sort of levels of what a child or young person may benefit from. So some child or young people are able to look at symbols. They're small, easy to carry around, and are great to look at, but can be difficult to understand what they mean. Some will need photos, and that will help to make it clear, so they will have a photo of the place that they are going to. Whereas for some children, or young people, they will need a physical object to help them understand. So the example on screen you can see is that the symbol is of somebody swimming, the picture is of the local swimming pool, but the visual cue is the swimming costume. So PEC stands for Picture Exchange Communication System, which can help people make choices. It uses symbols, so instead of words, PECS uses pictures or symbols of objects such as what they want. Symbols can be in colour or black and white. There are different symbol sets that have been developed to assist communication use in the UK. This is where it's important to check with your child's school to see what type of symbol that they are using, because consistency is really important and you would want to be using the same symbol at home and at school. PECS allows children a mean of communication within a social context. It helps them to teach functional communication. It focuses on initiating communication rather than just responding, and it does not require speech, signing or pointing, and it starts with requesting, not commenting. Using this approach does not inhibit speech development. A talking mat is another approach that can be really helpful. It also uses symbols to allow people to explore and communicate their feelings and opinions about certain issues. It provides a structural framework for asking open questions, it avoids direct confrontation, and it can be used across a range of ages and impairments. It reduces memory demands, and it helps people who have word-finding difficulties. It helps people to consider different options. It helps people to say no because there are no right or wrong answers. And so whereas other forms they might find it difficult to say no, this enables them to sort of put what they don't like in a positive way. It's a thinking tool which helps make decisions and makes changes. It enables the exploration of topics in greater detail. The example that you can see on screen is thinking about what somebody might like to do or might not like to do. You can see that there's a 3-point visual scale where you have the answer yes, maybe, or no. You have the option or the kind of the focus topic. The idea of the talking mat is that you would give the symbol to the child or young person and they would be able to place it in one of the 3 categories. So you can see on the screen that this young person does not like to do swimming, but does like to go to the cinema. There's no right or wrong answer, and actually what it could enable the staff working with this young person to do is think around why they might not like swimming or why they might not like to go dancing. So we're now going to be moving on to thinking around visual timetables. Visual timetables are really useful because it helps to let the child or young person know what is coming next. It helps to give them a bit more control about their day because they know what is to be expected. And it takes away some of that anxiety around not knowing. A visual timetable may include object of reference, photo, pictures and or words that suit the child's needs. It may be a hard copy, so going up on a wall at home, or it might be an electronic schedule, so on a child's or young person's iPad. It helps to prepare for any changes in routine, and it can be used as a tool to redirect the child if they become more unsettled. The idea of a visual timetable is that it would be somewhere where the child can see or access, and it can go up to down or left to right. It's often really important to get this consistency with school. This is now an example of Now and Next timetable. It helps to communicate which activity is first and which activity comes after. So for example, now we're going to go for a walk outside, but next we'll be having fruit. It keeps things simple and helps the child or young person to focus what they're doing now and what they're doing next. It can be really useful if an undesirable activity is currently going to be coming up. So it might be now we're doing something you don't really like, but then we will be doing something you do like. So it helps to maintain focus and attention, even if that activity currently will only last a few minutes. This next example is a bit of a longer timetable, and it helps to kind of show a routine in the day. The example being shown is a bedtime routine, but can be used at any time of day. For some children, this is what they need in terms of being able to highlight what they have across a morning or afternoon. So the example would be that for this young person that they would go to the toilet, then after they finished on the toilet they will brush their teeth. Then they might have a bit of time watching telly before having a bath and bedtime story. Again, there is no right or wrong schedule. It is what's right for the young person and what suits their routine and structure. When you're doing the visual timetable, you would go and look at the timetable, you would see what activity is next, you would go and do that activity, and then you would take that activity off and put it in the completed pile. You would then look at what's the next activity on the timetable. The last communication tool that we're going to be looking at is social stories. Social Stories was created by Carol Gray and is a short story written in a specific style and format. The story describes what happens in a specific social situation that may be obvious to us but not to people with impaired social understanding. It aims to improve their understanding of social situations and encourage appropriate response. Social stories provide accurate information about real and relevant situations. They present information visually and do not rely on interpersonal contact. They are a prompt about how to respond and what to expect in specific situations. They have a clear goals and give reassurance and positive feedback. Social stories are often used to develop appropriate behaviour. For more information about social stories, then please visit carolgraysocialstories.com. Over time, this approach has been adapted to cover other areas than social situations. On screen now, you'll be able to see an example of a social story. This isn't to say this is the only way that social story needs to be written. Sometimes it can be written with just words, and sometimes it needs to be just pictures. It's whatever is right for your child or young person. So this example is about a young person growing up and the importance of needing to shower and put on deodorant. This helps to explain the reasons why you would need to do that and the impact that it might have on other people. This example is for a young person needed in order to keep their hands to themselves. As you can see, this involves more written words rather than just pictures, and proves that social stories can be written using different communication styles. On the screen now, you will see various websites that can help to give more information around communicating with people with learning disabilities. If you would like to find out more, then please do visit some of these websites and read some of the information that they provide. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope you found it really useful. If you require more information about Hampshire CAMHS, please visit the website. If you require more information around communication, then please contact your school speech and language therapist, or if that's not possible, then please contact the Solent speech and language therapy team from the NHS, details which can be found on the last slide. Thank you.